Who is the best Fortnite player for every single age? This video from Not Cods breaks it down. Let's watch it. He only has 4,000 subscribers, by the way, so I'm going to show him some love. It looks like this video did really well. Let's check it out.
Fortnite age means a lot. It is commonly known that the younger you are, the more time you have and the more potential you have. Even though
that is
most
true.
players started playing before they were in high school,
I just want to point out that that is true. It's not that the younger kids have better like reaction time or some
best player from every age.
You know, better genetics. It just comes down to older players not having as much time to
working on getting it back. So for
really put time into Fortnite.
Two professional Fortnite players that are 14, Moneymaker and Mshari. Mshari is actually a day younger than Moneymaker, but I think the best 14-year-old has to go to Moneymaker. As a 14-year-old,
I don't know the other guy, but I know Moneymaker's really cracked, so it kind of makes sense, and he does have a lot of earnings.
He's made 2 FNCS Grand Finals, and in the last chance major, he ended up placing 6th on EU, qualifying to the 2023 Global Championship. After only playing competitively for 1 year, he's already been able to qualify for the biggest land since World Cup.
Yeah, because you have to be 13, so he's done all this in just 1 year.
For about 1 to 2 years, so we don't have as many tournaments.
Pretty valid first player.
After saying that, for 15, we have a long list of accomplishments. Professional Fortnite players that are 15 years old is Shalom and Alex. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Alex for this one. Even though Alex has only been able to play epic events for 2 years, he's been competing in them at the highest level for much longer. Alex made his first earnings in July of 2019 when he was just 11 years old.
Competes in Oceania. He's with Power, right?
And he got banned until he turned 13. And in his first FNCS after getting unbanned, he came 3rd in Grand Finals. Since he's gotten unbanned, he's won 2 FNCSs and came top 3 in 5 other Grand Finals. He also made the Grand Finals of the Global Championship, which is the biggest tournament since World Cup. Next up, we have 16. Even at 16, they have tons of accomplishments that most players don't even have. We have the Global Championship winner, Cooper. And we have the FNCS winners, Murstache and Cold. But lastly, we have my pick for the best player at 16. We have Peterbot. After thousands of cheating accusations, Peterbot still hasn't slowed down. He came 8th.
He's just not cheating. I honestly, he's just not cheating. He would have already been banned.
4th in Grand Royale, which was the last tournament of Chapter 2. But in Chapter 3, he really started to show why he deserves to be on this list over Cooper or Cold. In Chapter 3 Season 2, Peterbot won his first FNCS at the age of 14.
Wow.
Since then, he's been the most dominant player the game has ever seen, even qualifying to Global Championship Finals. For 17, we have players.
And everyone's afraid of fighting him.
But I think I'm gonna pick Iamzo. At 14 years old, Iamzo won the
I don't know, man. I mean, Iamzo's really good, but I think I'm a little biased. I would personally pick Reed.
He came 8th in the Global Championship with Rise. I think Iamzo and Rise has been the most dominant duo.
To be fair, we're talking about competitive events, right? Reed is really good competitively, but I think individually
expect to see them in the
he's
top
better.
5. At 18 years old, you are legally considered an adult, but at 18, these players have accomplished much more than the average adult. There's players like
bro's calling people out.
Cammy, Clicks, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Malabuka. Malabuka was already considered an up-and-coming GOAT at just the age of 16. For all of Trios in Chapter 2, he was stuck in an off-spawn grief fest with Andretta, Savage, and Benji Fishy. But in Chapter 3, when Benji quit and Mr. Savage and Andretta started to fall off, he started showing why he was
started to fall off. That's disrespectful, man. Come on.
He came top 4 in every Grand Finals. And in Chapter 4, he came 2nd and 3rd in the first 2 FNCSs. He also qualified for the Global Championship Finals with Thomas HD. For 19 years old, we have a combined 16 FNCS championships. We have players like Vino, Miro, Mr. Savage.
It has to be Miro.
But I think I'm gonna have to go with Tayson. Tayson is the most accomplished player of all time, and probably the most accomplished 19-year-old ever.
I forgot about Tayson.
By the time he turned 16,
Miro's second in my opinion.
FNCS champion.
But there's a
birthday, he won the solo All-Stars, making him a 3-time FNCS champion.
There's an argument
that by
that
the end of the year, he won the biggest online tournament
could be
in
better.
Fortnite's history, the Grand Royale, making him a 4-time FNCS champion.
Because Miro's what, 6x FNCS champion now.
Second in the first 2 FNCSs, and in Chapter 4, he won another FNCS, making him a 5-time FNCS champion. And the next season, he also came 2nd. He also qualified
by
for the
1
finals
point.
of the Global Championship with Murstache. For 20 years old, I think the answer is clear here. We have players like Okus and Edgy, but I think it's Seti. Seti made his first Grand Finals when 100%. He was just 17 years old.
100%. And he won the Invitational.
He won his first FNCS. He also came 2nd in Grand Royale. In Chapter 3, he came 5th and 2nd in the FNCSs that chapter. He also won DreamHack Summer 2022, and he came 3rd in Gamers 8 2022. And later on, by the end of the year, he also won FNCS.
Yep, that one was huge.
In Chapter 4, he came 4th and 5th in the first 2 FNCSs, and then he came 2nd in the 2023 Global Championship. He was almost the first person to win back-to-back lands, but unfortunately, he came 2nd in the Global Championship. but
Dang.
someone who actually did win back-to-back lands was Cooper. So if you guys want a video on that, let me know in the comments. Next up, we have 21, and at 21, you're legally allowed to drink in the US, but these guys have a lot more on their mind than just drinking.
He's too busy
like
cranking.
Whale, Queasy, Rise, and Booga, but I think the answer is clear. I think the best 21-year-old Fortnite
Booga.
pro is Thomas HD.
Okay. NA bias.
Duo World Cup qualifiers, qualifying him to the World Cup.
I think Booga's also a good answer.
21st in the Duo World Cup finals with Cluja. He came 9th in the first ever FNCS. I went back.
Guys, am I gonna be at 27? Am I gonna be up there?
The best player there. He was pulling off solo clutches like nobody else was. During Game 12, he 1v3'd a trio to win the game, and that's crazy. Boosted him up to 3rd place in Grand Royale. In Chapter 3, he came 3rd in the first 2 FNCSs.
That's a back 200.
Season, he came 6th.
He does have the best aim in the world. Like, he actually does have the best aim in the world.
And in Chapter 4, he came 2nd and 3rd in the first 2 FNCSs of the chapter. He also qualified for the finals of the Global Championship. Thomas HD is easily the best player of all time to never win an FNCS.
Yep.
He's the most consistent Grand Finals player ever, and to do it on the hardest region is insane. I believe he's going to be able to call himself an FNCS champion very soon. For 22 years old, we have Fortnite icon, model, and Twitch streamer Blake PS, but I think the best 22-year-old has to go to Scented. Scented came 3rd in the first 2 FNCS Grand Finals on NA West.
Scented's definitely
in Chapter 2, Season 2, Scented and
in my opinion better than Blake.
Better competition
and more accomplished.
In the first trio FNCS of Chapter 2, Scented, Edgy, and Commandment came 2nd, and for the next 4 seasons straight, they came 2nd in FNCS Grand Finals. Moving to a harder region for better competition and then coming 2nd in Grand Finals 5 seasons in a row is something only a GOAT would do. For the last FNCS before Grand Royale, Scented and Commandment dropped Edgy for stretch and they came 4th. Also in Grand Royale, they came 6th. In Chapter 3, Scented and Cold came 5th and 2nd in the first 2 FNCSs.
So many second place finishes for Scented, that's crazy.
FNCS Invitational. In the last chance major, Scented and Polarized came 2nd, qualifying to the Global Championship.
Second.
To my knowledge, there's only one pro player that is 23 years old, and that is Clarity G.
That's actually crazy. It cuts off there at 23. There's only one pro player. 22, he could only name a couple. So no pros above 23. Like no tier 1 pros. It's crazy, man.
Qualifying to World Cup solos. And in Chapter 2 Season 4 Grand Finals, he came 9th with Niddle and Mikey. In Chapter 2 Season 7, Clarity came 13th in Grand Finals with Rogue Shark and Knight. They stuck together for the last FNCS before Grand Royale and they came 10th. Clarity's best placement since World Cup came during Grand Royale where he came 7th in Grand Finals with Niddle and Casker. In Chapter 3, Clarity came top 20 in all of the Grand Finals that chapter. And in Chapter 4, he placed top 15 in the first 2 FNCSs. In the last chance major, Clarity placed 15th with Trashy and he hasn't played an event since. Now for 24, this is where we start to get really old. Like, how do these players still play at the top level after playing for years? And the best 24-year-old is Macwood.
Macwood's still
last week of
competes.
World Cup qualifiers qualifying for the World Cup. In World Cup duos, he came 16th with Young Calculator. And in the first FNCS, Macwood came first, winning $300,000. And in the next season, he placed 2nd during Squad FNCS. In the first trio FNCS of Chapter 2, Macwood placed 7th. The next season, he placed 3rd, auto-qualifying to Grand Finals where he placed 7th. And the last Grand Finals before Grand Royale, Macwood placed 11th with Bucky and Peterbot. And in Grand Royale, they ended up placing 4th. Since then, he has not placed
I feel so
top
old
15
watching
in
this
Grand
video,
Finals,
man.
but still plays competitively and consistently makes all the Grand Finals. For 25 years old, I think the best player is Bizzle. When he was just 20 years old,
he's
he placed
retired
2nd
now.
in 5
He doesn't
different
compete
skirmish
anymore.
meets. He also won the
But
Secret
yeah, in my
skirmish,
opinion, he
winning
was the best for that age group.
$60,000. He came 4th in Katowice.
It's crazy to think that he was
solos and duos,
once the younger guy. Like he was the
came
younger
3rd in the
pro.
first week of solo World Cup qualifiers, qualifying to the solo World
And
Cup
now
finals.
he's the
He
old guy
placed
who
3rd in
retired. That's
Squad Grand
crazy.
Finals, and in solo invitational Grand Finals,
That's
he
the thing
came
about
12th.
competitive
In the first
gaming.
trio
Like
FNCS
your
of Chapter 2, he
career
placed 14th with clicks and
at
ills.
max
And in
is
the
like
next
usually
season, he
5
placed
years.
5th
At
with
max,
clicks
if you're
and
lucky and can
Since
very
then,
consistent.
Bizzle hasn't placed well in Grand Finals, but consistently makes them. Bizzle will go down as one of the pillars of Fortnite, and without him, I don't think the competitive scene will be where it is today. And
True.
for the last player of this video, we
Sam.
have 28 years old, and I think the best player.
But he's
is
not
Sam.
28
Sam
anymore.
placed
He's
second in
he's
week
over
3 of
30
the
now,
fall
but when he
skirmish.
was
He also
28, he
came
qualified
fifth
for
in
the World
third
Cup.
week of World Cup solo qualifiers, qualifying him to the World Cup. And in World Cup solos, he placed 2nd, earning $1.8 million. In the first FNCS Grand Finals, he placed.
So I'm number 1 for
no
27,
shot
guys.
in
If there's any 27-year-olds out there who want to challenge me for that throne,
after squad FNCS, saw him quit, but is easily
catch me
one
on
of the
Coin
smartest
Clash.
players the game has ever seen.
See if you can take me down.
He created the baller strategy, which many people use to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in the World Cup. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Guys, this is a really well-made video, and shout
Like,
out to Not Cods. Only 4K subs, so who knows? He might be on the come up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.